Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, I'm Farzana, and this video coming up here is a little video from my Instagram challenge. At the beginning of COVID, we were all going through so many changes, and I did a big row of like every single day some guided meditations with some mindset work. So please take in mind the context that these were done several months ago, and I just wanted you all to have them in a format that you could see them in order of the challenge. So if you want, you can skip ahead to the video, look for the button below. Otherwise, if you have been in the challenge, if you're liking this, please join my community, like, comment, subscribe, ask lots of questions. I will answer your questions. I love taking questions and turning them into content for you guys. And yeah, I'm going to leave it at that, and let's just dive in. Have a great day, everybody. Hey everybody. Sorry, I'm like a couple minutes late today, mainly because I did not realize how heavy this board was going to be. It's very heavy. Hopefully not too much glare on it, but I did promise that that I would show you guys some theory of mind stuff. So I'm just gonna wait for you guys to pop up here, and then we'll start. Hi Jackie, how are you, lovely? Hey Jackie, I'm just gonna patch you in. You can like chat with me live for a second before everyone comes in. Does that work? I cannot find you. How are you, love? Hi, Alia. Jackie, I think you got cut off. Hi, Connie. I don't know if you can see, but I do have the whiteboard behind me. How's it going, everybody? All right. I just want to show you some stuff about the mind, okay? But before, how's everybody going? Like, do you have any questions? What's happening? Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Just, you know, soaking up the home time. Hi, Alicia. Hey, there you are. Hi, Mark. Okay, so I'm gonna start this thing. I'm gonna show you this really cool model of the mind. Okay, it's kind of nifty. Okay, so bear with my artwork and bear with me over here because clearly I've never done this, and I'm just gonna try and figure out what my parameters of the board are that you can still see. Okay, so that's my cutoff point. All right, I can work in that. Anyone have a color preference? I know, right? I feel like it's a team of us. Does anyone have a color preference? I have blue, purple, red, green, orange, and black. I feel like start with blue. Start with black or blue. Okay, black. All right. So let's pretend that this is your brain. Obviously, your brain has a better shape than what I can draw sideways, okay? Of your brain, okay, we would say that, and this is not a two representation drawing, about 5% of your mind is your conscious mind, okay? And 95% is your subconscious. Oh, I can't slide it. Okay. And within your subconscious mind, there's like a small portion of your subconscious mind, which I keep talking about, is the hindbrain. And that is, I call it your primal part of yourself. That's where your DNA, your heartbeat, everything. My God, this is like the ugliest drawing I think I've ever done. I apologize again. Okay, but my artwork aside, I'm gonna try to go to the other side here. Is this better? Let's try it this way. I'm gonna see my back. So rude. So rude. Okay, I think this is better. Okay, so there we go. So we've got 95% of our mind is our subconscious mind, 5% is our conscious mind. Now your conscious mind is always working towards your highest good and well-being, but it's also the part of your mind that is where all of your senses come from. So you've got your sight, taste, touch, smell, the ability to hear. And if you think about your mind like a computer, okay? And it's a computer in which in the first 8 to 14 years of your life, you actually have no filters or firewalls. Basically, the first 8 years of your life to 14 years of your life is like a software installation. And everything that you receive through your senses, think of them as input drives, okay? And your brain and your mind is kind of like a computer, and it's got some hardware, it's got your nervous system, it's got like the different aspects of your brain, and all these things are built into it, right? Like you've got DNA, you've got like certain things that this is the way it's built to work, okay? But in the first 8 to 14 years of your life, you get software loaded in, and you don't really choose that software. That software just goes straight into your mind. And so everything you experience in terms of, and I'll get some other colors out here, in terms of all of your experiences start to come into your mind. And you get neutral things like habits and mannerisms, okay? And just different things like accents start to form in your mind, okay? And then you get positive things like people telling you that you're smart, or that, you know, that you're hardworking, or that you're beautiful, or that you have a good heart, or, you know, positive associations or experiences of love, or being hugged or touched or held, okay? But we also have negative experiences, and those negative experiences we have those in our mind, okay? And they're like X's, okay? Where someone tells you you're not good enough, or someone picks on you, or so on and so forth, okay? Is everybody following me so far? Hey, everybody who's joined in. Hi, everybody. Hi, Henry. Hi, everyone. Is this making sense so far to everybody? Yeah, following along so far? Okay, cool. All right, but then at the age of about, I don't know, say 8 years old, you start to form the beginnings of a firewall, okay? And then by the time you're 14, your firewall is completely full, like completely laid in. And now, every time you go throughout your day, everywhere you go, all of the things that come into your conscious mind, and your conscious mind is constantly doing those things to protect you, to keep you alive, to keep you functioning, right? So, but as all of those things happen, like every day you go through things, and all of your experiences get held in that little filter, okay? And they get held there, and then at night, and I've been talking about this a little bit in the evenings, is at night through your dreams, okay? Your filter goes around and it starts to organize
all of the thoughts in your mind into little filters, okay, or little folders, sorry, folders. Okay, so you have folders, for instance, like one of the easiest ones to sort of reference, because I think everyone knows someone like this, is someone who has a folder like this that says my looks. And that person is attractive, but for whatever reason, or someone who's smart and intelligent and they're so quick-witted, but for whatever reason, maybe they had ADHD that didn't get diagnosed and they were told that they were disruptive. Maybe they were beautiful, but they had a sibling who was very attractive and they were told, no, you're the smart one. So these people have like a folder in their mind, either a folder labeled my looks or my intelligence, and they've got code in there, and that code is saying, no, actually, I'm not smart, I'm not okay. So these people receive compliments on their intelligence, on their looks, and those compliments come in, they sit in the filter all day long, and when they go to sleep, this part of your brain, which is purely just an organizational tool, okay, it goes in, hi Deanna, it goes in, and basically this part of your mind goes in and tries to organize everything. But it's kind of like when you don't update your OS or your apps properly, and the new information and all of these wonderful compliments, all of these hearts want to get put into that file folder that says my looks or my intelligence. And the file folder is just like, sorry, incompatible software, and it kicks you out, and it's like, sorry, you can't use this app until you update the app. And then you update the app and the app's like, oh no, sorry, your app no longer works because you haven't updated your OS. And then you update your OS and you're like, oh no, my my phone is old. But the good thing is your brain, it doesn't get old in that regard. Your phone doesn't get old. And even as we get older, our brains are still very plastic. They're still like, I call it, instead of Play-Doh, I call it brain dough. It just takes a little more practice, a little bit, tiny bit more effort to train your brain into being able to do what you want it to do. Is everyone following me so far? Does anyone have questions, or is this making sense so far? So I'm not seeing any response, so I'm assuming that it's making sense to you guys. Okay, so what we do here, the cool thing about this is that your subconscious mind holds all of your core values and beliefs. Okay, all of your core values and your beliefs sit in that subconscious part of your mind. And the beautiful thing is when we meditate and we have that circular thinking and we have some of the, exactly, finally got my whiteboard out, and we get all of this stuff going, is that all of these thoughts, all of these emotions, they actually help us to access these things. Here's the thing. The little circles, those little neutral things, those habits and mannerisms, those things don't require a lot of emotion to encode in your brain. However, I think every single one of us can recall certain positive incidents from our childhood and definitely negative incidents from our childhoods that we remember distinctly. And the way these little X's and hearts form, like the good and the bad things form, is when you feel an intense level of emotion. Okay, so the only way we form these positives and negatives are when we feel emotion intensely. So think of emotions as like, I like to think of them as like thousands of hikers, and you're going through a forest, and the thousands of hikers are going to help you make a trail. Right? So if you were just one person going through a forest that was like thick and you went off trail, probably not even an experienced tracker would be able to find you months later. Okay, but if you sent 1,000 people down one path and they all follow the same path, you would actually form a trail, and that trail would make a pathway. And that's what each of these things are. So your emotions quite literally are what encode things into your brain, which is why people say that often when you're like learning a language, for instance, if you emotionally engage in that language, you're going to be able to encode it better, because when you feel something, when you're forced to communicate with people in an immersion situation, your emotions connect to your words, and therefore you can learn with more ease. Okay? And so The challenge is, though, we're here right now. Okay, we've got our survival mechanisms that are very strongly wired into us. Okay, and then we've got all of this programming that we pretty much didn't choose. Okay, now that's not to say you can't learn new things. Okay, that's not to say that you can't bring new information in, because every day that you learn new information in here, as long as you don't have a block saying that you're not able to learn, that like, as long as you don't have like a block saying that you don't like, and some of us do, right? Some of us were told, hey, you're not smart enough. And so we have a block where we think new information can't go in, okay? But as long as you don't have one of those blocks, your ability to learn new things and to put in new positives and new other things is quite powerful. But if we want to update older stuff, that's what these meditations that we're doing in the evening do. Like, that's what we do in the evenings. But you can actually do more specific work, and you can do deep trance work where you get guided to actually go in and take one of these X's and neutralize it. Like, where you can actually take this and either turn it into a circle, or it becomes a resource that you learn from positively. Okay, and I'm constantly talking about shifting from reaction to response, okay, being able to have choice. Okay, at the moment, though, all of the stuff that lays in here, we're just responding to things. We're just responding to the things that are in our subconscious. Is that making sense to everyone so far? Does anyone have questions for me? Any questions at all? So far, so good. Okay, so far, so good. Okay, so, oh, thanks, Alicia. Okay, so when I was talking yesterday about these values, about these beliefs, about being triggered into old patterns, I think this is, oh, I will answer that in a minute. 5 kids as a busy mom. Okay, can you be more specific on your question, Jackie? Yasmin, yeah, is it Yasmin or Yasmin? What got me into this kind of work is just, I think I started meditating when I was so young. And even though I had these profound spiritual experiences, I also had a real sense that everything is science. Everything is science. And the fact that we have technology now that, 200 years ago even would have seemed like magic, right? I think that there's something to be said for the fact that we are discovering and understanding things about energy and like and whatnot in such a profound way. I mean, when I went to school, I studied psychology, and now there are fields of psychology that didn't exist before. In fact, it's still difficult to become a neuropsychologist or a neuropsychobiologist, and you have to study kinesiology or some form of, studies with psychology and then mix them together to become, yeah, it's still not even a developed field. But I've always been fascinated by this field of study and the subconscious mind. And I think the power of the mind is still so misunderstood. We know so much more than we ever knew before, but there's a lot there. So Jackie, can you be more specific about your question? I'm not, okay, thanks. Okay, so as a mom approaching meditation, I think that when you don't have a lot of time, I think it's one of these things that if you have 5 kids, we teach them the spaghetti meditation, and you teach your children the meditation game. One of the things that I do when I'm working with children is I'm gonna try to sit back up on here. Is I actually try to teach them how to calm their body, calm your mind, okay? And to help them be present with their emotions, and to, as a family, take moments to sit together and treat it like a game, okay? Sometimes, depending on the age of the kids, like if they're quite a bit younger, I call it like a spaghetti meditation. But it's a place where everyone gets to have a safe space and they do this together. And so spaghetti meditation, my favorite thing for that is to actually get them to practice tensing up every part of their body. Tense, tense, tense. And then making them like spaghetti. Like Raggedy Ann was mine when I was a kid, so I'm aging myself here, but like, and learning how to do this thing where if they actually train themselves, they can actually learn by the deactivation of their muscles, because literally 60% of anything we feel emotionally, of our mental and emotional state, I love that she's boiling spaghetti right now while I'm talking about this, but 60% of our state of mind and our emotional well-being comes from our physiology. So with kids, they're so easy, right? Like to just change the state of a kid who's really down and feeling sad about something. All you have to do is stand a little bit higher than them, and this is an NLP thing, and just go, hey, what's up, right? And even the language, what's up, is something that lifts them up, and they have to look up. And even if they're feeling awful, immediately from looking up, they already feel better. Plus, you're approaching them with love and kindness. So use your body. That's one of the reasons. And I also said that I would talk about the jaw thing today. And the jaw thing is pretty cool too. So, hi, Chris. Someone was asking me, why do I make everyone unhinge their jaw? And it kind of goes back to this again. But the jaw, and if you want, I'll do another one where it's not as hideous on the board on another day. But the jaw, the releasing of the jaw, the unhinging of the jaw is such an important thing. Okay. Actors have been doing it for ages. Singers do it. Everyone like practices this release of their jaw, and it's meant to help you communicate, to breathe more deeply, all kinds of things like that. But what was discovered in the last several years is that the unhinging of the jaw actually deactivates the worry center of your brain. And so if you think about it, every time you clench your teeth, you're usually clenching your teeth or clenching your jaw because you're worried, right? And so if you deactivate that, kind of makes sense that you're forcing your physiology into a state that is not so. Similarly, we smile because we're happy, or we're happy because we smile, right? Yeah, clenching a lot. Yes, and it comes back to emotional processing. So it's this idea of unhinging the jaw, of releasing, of softening. It also immediately, if you unhinge your jaw, the muscles of your neck are going to let go. And if everyone just practices it right now, if your muscles of your neck unhinge, if the tops of your shoulders start to release, automatically you're not going to be tempted physiologically to breathe into your shoulders, right? And our lungs are built so that we have at the base of our lungs are the most amount of receptors for oxygenation into our bloodstream. Okay, and this is the point where the oxygen reaches and converts into our bloodstream. And so the deeper towards your diaphragm you can take your breath, the better it is. So there are so many reasons for unhinging the jaw to get that oxygen flowing down there. But the other thing is, and it was really cool, I think I was doing, it must have been 2011, about 9 years ago, I was doing yoga teacher training with the lovely Nico Luce and Todd Inouye, and it was so cool. They got this historian, Christopher Tompkins, to come in, and this man had been he was at Harvard and I believe MIT as well, and he had Harvard, MIT, it was Berkeley. Sorry, I think it was Berkeley, definitely Harvard though. Anyways, he had made it his life's work to translate the tantric scriptures. And by tantra, I don't mean sex. Tantra was actually an appreciation of all things. In fact, the emergence of Tantra yoga was actually one of the earlier emergences into the physical practice, because traditionally in yoga, the physical body was actually seen as not as important. And the only reason we did like 12 yoga poses approximately was to prepare our body so that we could sit on the floor to meditate. Okay, and that was why we did physical yoga. We did it to like clear out the restlessness from our body so that we could sit down. But the real yoga was always the yoga of the mind. And when Tantra came about, it was this appreciation of the physical. It was the appreciation of other aspects of ourselves. And so with that physical aspect came a krama. And a krama is like a series. Okay, it's a series of poses. And in the tantric scriptures, they talked about this krama that would lead you to enlightenment. And if you followed those poses and did them in that exact order, you would find enlightenment. Okay, and of course, everyone today is like, we need these poses, because those tantric scriptures were beautiful. Like the writings, the stories, the teachings, like just like poetic and beautiful and gorgeous. But common time? I'm sorry, I'm not understanding your question. Endless lovable person. Can you reiterate that question in a different way? So that said, we had this tantric scripture saying that if you do this yoga like series of poses in this order, you'll achieve enlightenment. But there was a description of one pose which was called the seat of enlightenment, okay, the asana of enlightenment. But there were no descriptions for it. For the longest time, there were no descriptions for it, and they couldn't find any descriptions. They found descriptions of cobra pose. They found descriptions of other things. Really, anytime is the best time. Anytime. And I think, okay, to answer I'm sorry, I'm jumping away from the story. I'm not going to jump away from the story. I'm going to answer your question about best times for COVID meditation after this, okay? But the cool thing is that when they did finally find a description, they realized that the description hadn't been described because it was the most obvious thing ever, okay? It was a description of this pose of enlightenment. And all the description said was spine, tall, okay, so as tall as you can make it, head where it rests, okay, on the spine, jaw released, mouth open, tongue floating up to the roof of your mouth, with the point of the tongue up to the roof of the mouth, eyes closed or mostly closed. And if you've ever seen any statue of the Buddha, other than the open mouth, but if you've ever seen anyone in bliss, right? Any of the gurus who go into ecstasy or bliss, like mid conversation, and their mouths just go, right? And it's like if you've ever fallen asleep sitting up and you've had that conscious feeling of like, it happens to me on planes, and it's like, damn it, close your mouth. Planes and buses, whenever I'm traveling, I fall asleep with my mouth open and I'm like, somebody is going to take a picture, but I am like too deeply into it to be able to actually close my mouth or to actually be able to care. And that again is that deactivation of the worry center of your brain. So it's that seed of enlightenment that's so important. So yes, I promised that I would talk about the jaw. Now, I know, right? It's totally laughable. But that said, practicing these things with your children is, I love you too, Jackie. Practicing these things with your children, with your families, and teaching them how to calm their body, how to calm their mind, how to sit with their emotions, how to breathe through their emotions is really important. And what I would offer is, let's jump into a COVID-ish type meditation. I hate to even call it that, because to me, I think it's gratitude and appreciation for the gift of our own breathing. I think that right now, I think it's important to do a meditation practice anytime you're feeling your emotions or energy level dropping into a negative space, to sit and take a moment to breathe through those things. Yeah, right? All those photos of people with their mouths open, falling asleep. But I don't know. when I see that now, I just think it's beautiful, and I envy that in other people. I'm like, I'm happy for people when I see them asleep with their mouth open, because there's something to be said for sleeping upright and that conscious subconscious awareness, because that's also the time when things come up that you can process some of this stuff. But let's today do like a little mini meditation around around our lungs, and this is inspired by the lovely Alicia Love Reed. But yeah, oh, I appreciate you guys. Okay, so let's take that posture. Let's use our physiology, okay? Use the posturing of our physical body to help ourselves, okay? Of course, when your spine is tall, you can take deeper breaths. Of course, when you shrug your shoulders a few times and let them drop, you can have more ease in your shoulders. Of course, we're all going to unhinge our jaws right now, except for me, because I have to keep talking. And let it hang open. Let your mouth hang open and let your tongue float wherever it wants to. Okay? I know just by mentioning the tongue, you probably feel a sense of having to do something with it, and that's okay. In a moment, you'll forget about it, and it'll do what it wants to do anyways. Okay? Just keep the jaw unhinged. Let your spine be heavy or light, or your head be heavy or light wherever it rests, and let your spine be tall. Let your arms or palms rest in whatever position serves you right now. As you notice the release of your jaw, allow that ease with the power of your mind to help the easing of your jaw melt down the sides of your neck, over the tops of your shoulders, down your arms, into your palms. And take a moment to notice the flow of your breath. Notice how your body is breathing for you naturally, easily, effortlessly. And of course, just by noticing your breath, it continues to deepen and soften in your body. And as that breath softens, as it deepens, what is the breath? It's not just an exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Your breath is deeply, deeply subconscious, right? We take breaths when we're in a hurry, when we're in a rush, when we're feeling stressed out or anxious. And we take breaths when we feel happy, in laughter, sighs of relief, of peace. We take breaths when we're in love, and we take breaths when we feel wonderfully calm, peaceful, and at ease. And even beyond that, what is breath? Oxygen? Or perhaps life force itself, prana, chi. And if you will, I invite you to imagine, picture, perceive, wish, will, or desire that prana and life force is like white light flowing into your lungs, illuminating every part of your lungs, of your bronchus, of the bronchioli, of the alveoli, all the way down to those little receptors flowing into your bloodstream. Life force quite literally flowing into every ounce of your being. And as you breathe that light into yourself, I wonder if you can breathe it in to the lungs of your family members. If you can breathe that white light into the lungs of your neighbors, of your community, of the world around you. So that life force is not just flowing into you, but into every person on this planet. And just by the will of your imagination, perhaps you notice the breathing that they're already having. And perhaps you add to that breathing with your will. Breathing in, life force itself, white light, illuminating every ounce of your being. And of course, it doesn't just stay in your lungs. It spreads to your entire body and being, through every cell, through your bloodstream, flowing into surrounding tissues, through your muscles, through your tendons, your ligaments, your nerves, your bones, until every part of you is glowing. And perhaps we imagine and perceive all of the people that we love glowing, and their people, and our neighbors, and our community, and the world. I wonder if we could have gratitude and appreciation for something as simple as the breath. And it's okay if your mind has wandered or drifted from your breath. Bring it back to your breath. Notice your physical body. Notice the activity in your mind and thoughts, of your emotions and how you feel. Notice your own awareness, the awareness of yourself. And when you're ready, stretch your arms up to the sky, and with all of your awareness, physically, mentally, emotionally, or otherwise, look up to the sky and say, I feel wonderful. Oh, you're wonderful, Jan. Was this your first meditation? Hey, David. Hey, can you drink water? Of course you can drink water. You can do whatever you want. It's your show. It's your life. It's your journey. I didn't know that was your first meditation. Oh, well. Oh, hey, Thomas. Right? It doesn't take long. You don't have to sit for an hour. So yes, I agree on COVID, coronavirus, isolation, distance. I think negativity and fear distancing is a really good thing right now. And I think it's important to do something positive. Hugs, Connie. I think it's really important to stay in positive energy and positive psychology, to be loving and kind and forgiving of ourselves. Hey, Adrian. So we're going to keep up these meditations, okay? I will do them until my data runs out, which I don't know how long is going to happen. But I do encourage you, if there was one of the nights of meditation that you did enjoy that we did earlier when we were doing the challenge with Y Yoga, go back on their IGTV. It's there for all time. Hey, Jason. It is there for all time. And your brain will love the repetition. Keep listening again and again and again. And yes, I completely concur. I don't think this is social distancing. For me, I'm socializing a lot more than I did before. It's just physical distancing. And so I am sending you all like giant hugs. And I will say this again and again and again. There are 5 love languages, and really in infinite ways to convey love to other people in our worlds, and only one of them is with touch, you know. And so I think that we can spread a lot of love and a lot of positivity, a lot of kindness, practice immense gratitude for the things that we do have in our world and in our lives right now, and that we always have had, especially these times that we share together right now. And so I just offer to you the space to fear distance and physical distance, but not social, not the other stuff. And maybe, you know, and maybe practice these meditations. Practice this one of that, you know, Alicia suggested, of breathing light into our lungs. Rewatch some of the older meditations that we did, also high energy vibration meditations, clearing. There are so many of them. Oh, Jackie, you were the sweetest. Yeah, pro physical distancing. I don't believe this is social distancing. Well, I'm a hugger. Like, I'm a hugger. So for me to be saying that is something. So, you know, I am sending you all virtual hugs. I am sending you all so much love. And I will see you at 8 p.m. Okay? 8 p.m. tonight. I love you guys. I miss your hugs too. Oh my God, I can't believe you called me the 6th love language. You're the best. Like, you just melted my heart a little bit. I love you so much. And I am doing great today. All right, I'm going to post this up and you guys will be able to get it for 24 hours if you missed little mini meditation or the chit chat about how the brain works. Oh, I love you, Jan. You're welcome. Okay. Have the best day. Hi, Janice. Hi, Jason. I love you guys. Hi, Alia. Oh, thanks, Adrian. Adrian, you gotta come on and do a live with me at some point. Love you guys. Stay absolutely amazing. Bye, loves.